Todd McShay just released his top 32 prospects in the 2023 NFL Draft. I have yet to look at them, and that's what we're going to do here today. What's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy, Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's go ahead, switch over to this sucker. A few programming notes. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to release a mock draft. Yeah. Oh boy, that'll be fun. Also, prospect rankings will be on the way in the next few weeks, as well as we got a watch along Kansas versus TCU, baby. I'm excited to watch Kansas live with you guys. So if you want to join that watch along, that'll be Saturday. Let's go ahead, take a look at this. I'm real curious, see if there's anyone I haven't looked at just yet. I imagine not towards the front of the board. As we see, Will Anderson, top prospect here. Makes all the sense in the world. Some people either consider Will Anderson or Jalen Carter the top non-quarterback prospects in this class. And, I mean, yeah, for all intents and purposes, I mean, if you have these ahead of the two quarterbacks, which I assume Young, I assume Stroud, a lot of people want to throw Levis in there as well. Myself am not quite as sold on Levis as probably a majority of the community, but Will Anderson being here, yeah, another guy that started the year off a little, yeah, especially that Texas game where it's like he was getting pressure, but it wasn't like ideally, like there were a lot of penalties in that Texas game. His one sack came off essentially a busted coverage where he came in unblocked, and I think it was Bijan that was supposed to block him, but he tripped over Card's foot, which led to the sack. But since then, he's been really good. Yeah, Will Anderson, woohoo. Let's see, number 2. Is it a quarterback? It is not. It's Jalen Carter. So, again, I said this is probably the other guy, some people will consider the top non-quarterback prospect in this class. Carter is just a wonderful prospect. This interior class is just wonderful in general. Let's keep this sucker going, see if we get our first quarterback. And we do. It's CJ Stroud. A lot of people are going to like Stroud more than Young. I think a vast majority of people are going to like Stroud more than Young because of the size. Honestly, both I think have NFL arms. Like, I think Stroud's just a better passer of the football, and I love wording it that way. Like, Young, just how he manages the middle of the field is next level compared to the rest of the quarterbacks in this class right now. But Stroud has really made some, I would say, some strides. The decision making's a ton better this year. He's not missing on a lot of passes. Like, we don't see a lot of overthrows. That was kind of like his thing early last season. So yeah, if you consider Stroud, if the size is too much of a concern for you, then it is what it is, man. Stroud's a good prospect. He's literally, it's like 1A, 1B with him and Young in my book. And we're going to see actually Bryce Young right here at number 4. Again, love Bryce Young, how he maneuvers the pocket. It's great. It's kind of Mahomian. Is that a word? Mahomian? Well, I mean, I know it's not a word, but it's Mahomes-esque. Let's go with that. Big fan of Young. He has been a big reason Alabama's come out the gates undefeated. He's kind of carried that team. Though the team as a whole came alive against Arkansas when Young went down with the AC joint injury. Sounds like it's not all that serious. So don't know how much that'll play a factor into his I guess his stock, his projection right now. But again, we'll see as it goes on. Bijan Robinson. See, this is the thing. I love Bijan. If we're not taking into consider, if we're not considering positional value, yeah, Bijan would be right up there, dude. But running back is just not a high value position when it comes to the draft. Like, people list them in their top 10. I'm more so gonna have him probably like just inside the top 20, and that's really high for a running back for me. So I love Bijan. So, like, again, if we're not taking into consideration the value of the position, then yeah, go for it. But I think a lot of these guys do. Myles Murphy here at number 6. Freaking love Myles Murphy. He has come alive the last 2 weeks. Love to see it. Big fan. Guy's just a physical specimen. So I'm glad McShay's high on him. And let's keep going. Here's Will Levis. See, I'm telling y'all, man. See, even though I'm not high on Levis, I do understand a majority of the football community, the draft community, they are high on him. For me, the one red flag, you weren't unable to unseat Sean Clifford. Is this Sean Clifford? I think it's Sean Clifford at Penn State there. Even though you're a much better prospect, has to go to Kentucky. And the next then red flags is the decision making. I'm very concerned. Like, his turnover worthy throws are higher than his big time throws thus far this season. I did love how he played in the second half of that Ole Miss game, even though ultimately they lost that game. But yeah, get that decision making better. I'd like to see him get better as a processor, and I think we saw that in the second half of the Ole Miss game. Maybe it's a sign of things to come. Brian Brazil here at number 8. If you got a problem with how I pronounce it, take it up with Clemson's website. But yeah, like I said, this interior class is pretty fire. I expect to see, at least in this top 32, at least 3 more of these interior prospects, whether it's like Siaki Ika, who else we got? We got Jaquilin Roy, we got Gervin Dexter. There's a few of those guys I expect to see making their names on this list, but Brazil's been amazing this year. Top 10, yes. Number 9, we got our first wide receiver being Jordan Addison. I think he's been probably the best receiver from this class thus far. Like, you've had, the whole interesting arc of Kayshon Boutte over at LSU, which I've kind of already talked about at length. Jackson Smith-Njigba has been kind of hampered by a hamstring injury, so we haven't seen much of him this season, and there really isn't that next guy up. Like, Quentin Johnson hasn't really been a focal point of the TCU offense. You have guys like Rakim Jarrett, who hasn't really showed ball skills. Josh Downs, I don't think he's a first rounder. I like him. I probably feel better about him in that top 50, top 60 mix, but I don't see him as a first rounder. And then it's like, who are we talking about? Like, who? Like, Rashee Rice has been amazing at SMU, but he's not a first rounder. So it's like Addison's kind of the guy that's pole vaulted himself in that mix. Is he a top 10 player? He's close. I'll say that. Let's see what else we got going on here. Then we got Michael Mayer at number 10. Not like a generational talent when it comes to the tight end position, but that's fine. I think that's okay. I would say what he does, like, he's an excellent blocker. He consistently moves the chains. You love the hands. You love what he could do after the catch in terms of he's just kind of a battering ram. He's hard to bring down. Like, that's what you want in a tight end, man. It's pretty solid. It's pretty good. I don't think it's top 10, but it's definitely in that middle to late first round. And then we get our first tackle being Paris Johnson. Let's go. Probably the best human being in this class. You could go check out my tackle rankings video. Again, I'll have an update coming out soon, but I talk at length about like just what he does in terms of volunteer work and what he does for his community and such. But he's had a solid year thus far. I think you could argue that Peter Skoronski's had the better season, but also there's more questions when it comes to how he translates to the NFL at the tackle position. So Paris Johnson, getting a thumbs up here, bud. Keely Ringo, yes, finally someone has him as a top corner and not outside the top 15. I feel like I see that all the stinking time. You love this dude's size. You love him as an athlete. He hasn't been nearly as productive, at least in terms of the ball skills this year, but that's fine. I think what he brings to the table, from like his physical tools to what he is as an athlete, is top tier. And then at number 13, we have Isaiah Foskey. One of the two. Dude has a very, I would say, high floor. Very high floor. From his length, how he plays the run, good burst and explosiveness. Like, he can be a lot more, but for what he is, like, he's at least going to be that late first round variety. And you know what he can become in an edge class where you don't have many people that have emerged as like edge 3. Like, you could talk about Andre Carter, but he's a bit more raw as a prospect. You could talk about BJ Ojolari, but I think some people will come with size concerns and probably equate him more to like a Yannick Ngakoue type of prospect, who he fell in the second round. Azeez Ojolari, his brother, who has a similar skill set, fell in the second round, but big fan of Foskey. Number 14, here's Andre Carter. Here we go. Let's see what he has to say about Andre Carter. Has the strength and the length to prevent tackles from getting good hit on him, rushing the passer. While he doesn't have elite get off, which I agree with. I think it's just he looks like he covers a lot of ground just because his length is insane. He's like 6'7", 260. It's really insane length. So I don't think the get off is necessarily elite, but he's mainly centered that Y9, so he gets these free get offs as well. So he's not necessarily initiating contact with blockers until they like take a pretty large like kick slide back. But he's raw, man. Get him in an NFL weight room, dude, and watch out, man. You could have a heck of a prospect. We get more edge talent here at Nolan Smith. I didn't really mention him. Dude's been a really good run defender. Biggest concern for me is that size. Like, I kind of like give you the benefit of the doubt at 240 when you're sitting at 235. I think it's much more of a concern. It's good to see that the run defense has been pretty solid for him, but there's still that concern. I don't think he's really blown the top off as a pass rusher thus far this year, though. As they're playing their starters more in against better competition, like I think he's been solid enough to, like, for me to put him in that first round variety, though I'm still a bit hesitant on him. Definitely like a top 50, top 60 guy for me, though. Just again, another guy a lot of people are higher on than I am. All right, we have at 16, Keyshawn Boutte. I guess we could talk about Boutte now. As I said, I won't talk about him mainly in depth, but we could talk about it. He's not been the focal point of the Tigers' offense. To be fair, the Tigers' offense has been dog water, really has, or tiger water. I don't know how you ever want to word it. He's not been the focal point. In that opener against Florida State, looked like he was just going to quit the team and just opt in there. He scrubbed his whole social media of anything LSU, ends up playing the following game, but he hasn't been much. A lot of that you could throw on Jaden Daniels, but you'd expect, we know what he is in terms of what we've seen prior to this in the build-up. And also, I would note this. He had 2 procedures over the offseason on the ankle, so it would be nice to see him more involved because I want to see that explosiveness after the catch, that ability. That's why a lot of people really love him. So what he can do after the catch. So it's yet to be seen. We get our other receiver, Jackson Smith and Njigba here. A lot of people are going to probably be sold on him from what he did in 2021. Been hampered by the hamstring to start the season here, so hasn't been on the field a ton. But, like, I don't know. It's going to be this argument. It's like, oh, is it worth taking a guy who's really just a slot player in the NFL? We've seen what a guy like Cooper Kupp has done with that, where he's just an absolute monster. Because Jackson Smith, I don't think he's a guy that can consistently win and succeed on the outside because he isn't a top-level athlete. He's a good athlete, he's a smooth athlete, he's a fluid athlete, but he's not a high-end athlete, at least in terms of what you want on the outside. All right, let's see. We got Peter Skoronski here at 18. He lists him as a tackle. Problem is, man, that length, it's not ideal. It's sub 33-inch arms. And you could, again, people will be like, whoa, Penei Sewell and Rashawn Slater, they had sub 32-inch arms. He's not the athlete those guys were. So listen, there's a lot of value to be in with a guy that can literally play all 5 positions on the offensive line. The thing is his ability to, is his projection to the NFL when it comes to the tackle. Is that high enough to warrant him to be like this top 15 prospect? It's a bit questionable. All right, number 19, we got Cam Smith out of South Carolina. Got a lot of experience. I love his play style. I love his attitude. Missed the Georgia game. That kind of sucked. It just hasn't really, teams have just chosen to throw away from him. He hasn't really been thrown at this year. But I love the ball skills. I think some other corners have probably passed him thus far just based on their performances. Like, you got Joey Porter, you got Christian Gonzalez. So I just think a few guys have passed him thus far this season. Here's actually one of them. Number 20, Joey Porter. Teams are going to love the athleticism. They're going to love the length. They're going to love that he's got a pedigree in terms of his family. If you didn't know, Joey Porter's son. On top of that, a guy that's also heavily involved in volunteer work and such. A guy that does need to reel back and choose discretion when it comes to how handsy he is during the route. But still, you love the physicality. I'd much rather have to teach a guy to be less physical than be more physical when it comes to the NFL. Number 21. Hey, we got another receiver here, Cedric Tillman. He's a bit older than some of the guys. I think he's going to be 23 when he takes his first NFL snap. He's been out a couple of games because of the left ankle injury. At least he was out not last week. Well, last week was a bye week, but the week prior. I don't know if he comes back for LSU, but dude has been really good. He shows that the ability to be a good vertical threat, good at the contested catch ball, not necessarily the best, the most speedy target, but he wins with crisp routes and just being able to go up and just moss guys, just pull, not even moss, but like just catch over guys. The same thing I fell in love with when it came to Quentin Johnston. And then John Michael Schmitz, another guy that's a bit older, much older than Tillman. Not much, but he's going to be like 34 when he takes his first NFL snap. But probably one of the most complete guys when it comes to this interior class. This is a cat that I think is an easy NFL starter. Some people have comped him to like Frank Ragnow, but big fan of him, big fan. I talked about him a couple of weeks ago when I was talking about in my stock report, so you could check that out. And then 23 is Quentin Johnston. There we go, man. This is a dude that has, when given the opportunity, has huge catch radius, catches the ball, he can create, like he just absorbs contact. He's hard to bring down, man. Still looking for production this year, but man, I was a huge fan during the summer of Quentin Johnston. And then here's Christian Gonzalez here at 24. Like that 2-year start at Colorado before transferring to Oregon. Kind of had a not an ideal game against Georgia, but has rebounded exceptionally well. He gets who do they get? Oh, they get sneaking Arizona this week. So might not necessarily, like Arizona, honestly, their offense has been pretty fire. But still not necessarily maybe a matchup that will really elevate his stock. Maybe more so when we get to like Washington, USC. I don't even know if they face those teams this year. All right. Oh, Keanu Benton at 25 out of Wisconsin. All right, I'm gonna be honest, man. I haven't watched much of him this season thus far. I haven't watched much Wisconsin this season. Did watch him during my off-season draft process, like during the summer, and I kind of came up with an early day 3 grade for him. But dude's impressive. I don't know what he's done this season. He says he has a pair of sacks and 2.5 tackles for loss on the year. Don't know if that's necessarily gonna pole vault him to the top of the class here, but I know Todd McShay has been the guy that's been high on him. So, yeah. At 26, we got Antonio Johnson, the first safety on the list here. He's been very good this season, though a broken hand might end his season this year. So the question is, does he come out? Because I think he's still going to be considered the top safety in this class. Playing safety for the first time this year, like true traditional safety role, opposed to him playing in the slot last year. But he's got the versatility to be able to actually play outside corner. Like, he's been very good this year. So it'll be interesting to see where he gets projected at 26. I feel like he's more in that range, but I feel like a lot of the safeties are in that range. Brian Branch was also a guy that went down this past week to injury. Don't know what's the timeline for him to return. And then Jalen Duncan, look at that. Now he's not just making the rounds on the Draft Network. He has made the round here for Todd McShay. Like, I like what this guy can do in the open field. Like, I think he does a good job getting to the second level or being that guy like on a pull block. Not even on like pulling blocks. You love, like, this dude, he gets out into the open field like on screens, just looking to hit somebody. You like the length. Don't necessarily think he has that nasty nature the NFL just relishes and cherishes, but I feel like he's more in my day two variety for right now. I'm more intrigued with guys like Broderick Jones and Olu Fashanu. Then 28, we got Osiris Torrance, man. Dude's been a monster. There's a great case for him to be the offensive interior one in this class. Like, the dude is so strong, bodies people. He's shown that, like, for his size, he's quick to get out and just lay massive hits. Like, the NFL's going to love this cat. They really are. The move to Florida followed in Billy Napier. Prime. And then, yes, my boy Jared Verse out of Florida State. Freaking love Jared Verse, man. This dude lit it up against, who was it? Against LSU, there we go. After lighting it up against Duquesne. He's been very good this year. Don't know when he comes back. I don't know when he comes back from the injury. He wasn't back this past week, correct? And then they got Boston College this week, I believe. Here, let's pull it up. Okay, he did play versus Wake. He didn't start, but he played, so I imagine he'll be starting this week. But dude's just been disruptive. 4 sacks, 12 pressures. Guy's just been good. Freaking love him, dude. Such a great athlete. He's made himself a lot of money. I'm so happy that, like, a lot of it was projection on my part, but I included him as a top 50 prospect, and I'm glad to see that paying dividends. It's nice to see that you step up to the plate, you call your shot, and it hits. I feel like Aaron Judge. All right, we got Noah Sewell, top linebacker on Todd McShay's board. I get it, dude. Dude's a great athlete for his size. He is just a train wreck waiting to happen. I don't like, I need him to be more of a sure tackler, especially if his coverage prowess isn't going to be, like, great. So Noah Sewell's more in this day two, which, to be fair, he's 30 on Todd's board. So yeah, I would expect Trent Simpson here. All right, hey, we're talking more Tyree Wilson. I still gotta get to him, man, or at least get what he's done recently. I always go back to Liberty Bowl because everyone's like, man, he dominated. I'm like, not against Charles Cross. So we'll see. Let's see what Todd has to say about him. Former A&M transfer. Oh, blah, 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 blah. He can shoot his hand. Okay, hasn't really didn't really bring up the one concern I had about him. So we'll see. He's got good size to, like, stick as a 3-4 end. So we'll see. Maybe he's a guy I go back and watch what he's done recently, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'm sold. And then here's Derek Hall. Yo, Derek Hall more day 2 for me, but I love this guy's burst. Gets off the edge with a lot of explosiveness. Good first step. Still in the day 2 variety for me, but I'm surprised to see him over BJ Ojulari, who I just think has been more disruptive, but I love it. Didn't see those interior guys I thought, you know, with like Gervin Dexter, Siaki Ika, Quillen Roy. So a bit surprised. Is that it? Does he go into like his full rankings? If I click full rankings here, does it? Yeah, it takes me to this. So that's a bit interesting. So I guess I'm curious. Okay, he's got Ojulari. I don't know if, yeah, y'all probably can't see it, but he's got Ojulari here right after Derek Hall. Okay, and then where is, he's still got Brent Johnston up here. Wow, he's got Trenton Simpson a bit down there at 51. That's interesting. Still got Brent Johnson. I'm pretty sure Brent Johnson, the California defensive interior, is going to end up returning just because of back-to-back injuries that we haven't seen him play football in like 2 years. So that's probably going to be a big thing for him. But very insightful, very interesting. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. That's it for the video. Didn't plan to do this one until it literally just came out hours ago. So you'll get this probably same day, and then I'll have mock draft out for y'all tomorrow. But until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.